Hey, this is TitanReign, as in Rain from Deadly Force. I have created this video to help players that aren't that good at Project Blackout to become better players. There are so many mistakes I see unseasoned players make, and this video should help prevent those mistakes. Please listen and pay attention. Write these points down. Practice them. Most of the points I make will not only help you in this game, but help you in any first-person shooter you'll ever play. Some people think these things are hacks, as in they're dying to these things. They'll call you a hacker. I would call it skill. I am here to make you a more skilled player, so please listen and pay attention. Now we're going to talk about how you should always look around. For example, if I come out of this door, I'm going to look left. I'm going to look behind here. I'm going to make sure that I check every area before I go. I need to make sure that I know where these enemies are. See how I just found those guys? Just by looking around. Now, if you're in combat, of course, it's not a good idea to look around because you need to kill the people that are attacking you. But when people are dead, see, I just found that guy by looking around. Now I need to look around before I continue. Always look around. Always. Don't walk into an area like this. Nah. Walk into an area like this. And it's always a good idea to do that. Now we're going to talk about a quick point. Always look behind doors. Don't just walk out like this. Always look behind doors, because there are people who will hide behind the doors, and you will get called a cammer when you come around a corner and you kill someone behind a door, but it's just a good technique. And if someone calls you a cammer for that, then you could just tell them, oh, you're retarded. Now we're going to talk about the difference between shift and control walking. Shift walking, you walk kind of slow. Control walking, you walk very slow. So basically, these are very good for bomb matches, or, you know, eliminate matches, or even matches with a big map where there aren't that many players playing it. Basically, when you shift walk, it makes kind of a crunching, like, sound, and it can't be heard from that far away. Control walking, however, you're crouching and your head's lower, and first of all, it's going to be generally easier for them to headshot you while you're control walking, and it's because it's basically their cursor or their crosshair will be aimed at your head generally when they're walking around areas. That's just a general thing. So be careful when you're crouch walking for that reason. But crouch walking makes zero sound. Zero sound. Meaning that they cannot hear you while you're crouch walking. So and it's especially useful. You can also mix and match shift in crouch walking and walk very quietly. Like this is shift in regular walking. You can hear my key being pressed there, but all they can hear is, and that's very hard to distinguish. Control, mixed walking, all they can hear is maybe every once in a great while. So it's a good idea to mix and match. It's also a good idea to use those two techniques. Here's a real good point that I see a lot of noobs doing all the time, and it's easily preventable. They're like, you're a hacker, you're a hacker. Because they die because they're doing this. Now, what am I doing wrong here? I'm playing against computer players, so, I mean, it looks like it's fine. However, what I'm doing wrong here is I'm standing still and shooting. You shouldn't ever do that. If you're fighting somebody, you want to be jumping around, attacking them. Don't ever stand still and shoot, because if you're moving, you're dodging. And if you're dodging, it's harder for them to hit you. So make sure that you're dodging while you're attacking. Another really good point I want to make, and I don't have my sound on right now so you're not going to hear it, is listening for footsteps. Always make sure that you listen for footsteps. And control walking and shift walking is very good for this. and with surround sound you can hear which direction they're coming from. However, if it is a map where there are multiple floors, like Hospital, it's pretty much indistinguishable to tell what floor they're on. You can't hear the up and down, over left and right. You can't hear the difference. So it doesn't really apply there. But it does make a huge difference on any other map that is more linear, like Luxville. You can hear basically what direction they're coming from, and you can react accordingly. So always listen for footsteps. I'm going to talk about camping now, and the do's and don'ts of camping. Do not camp in an area like this. Because if you do, you are visible by so many players, and you're just going to get shot at from so many different directions, and that's not good. If you're going to camp, which people call noobish, but, you know, if it were real life, I'd much rather camp than run out into complete danger and inevitable death. Camp in an area where you know they're not going to come up behind you. You only know they're going to come up from areas that you can see, like this. I'm camping this area. I can see all the directions and quickly aim at any of them if they're going to come up from any of these directions, see? So now I know that I'm safe. So make sure when you're camping that you do it intelligently and not like a retard. I'm camping. Your mother always told you not to run with knives. Now, it kind of isn't that way in this game. Basically, running with knives is actually a really good idea. What it does is it speeds you up. If you can see the difference in speed here. The reason why you want to do this, and only when you want to do this, is when you want to get to an area fast. It's especially useful in bomb games where you need to go to disarm or to plant or whatever. Or if you know that there's no one around you based on the footsteps, etc., then running with knives is a good idea. Now, it's not a good idea because people can sneak around to run with knives and don't pull out your weapon ever. This is a bad idea. This is a good idea, and this is called jump running. Is basically you run, you jump, you switch, and you attack whatever you're going to attack. So you run, you jump, you switch, and like right now, I'm not going to run with knives over here and be like, I'm running with a knife, but if that happens, if someone just so happens to pop around a corner while you're running with knives, make sure you attack them. Make sure that you attack them. Because if you don't, they won't die. And running with knives is a good idea in certain situations. Another good point I wanted to make is when you are fighting somebody and you just so happen to run out of ammo, switch to your pistol so you don't have to worry about dying or because you're trying to reload while you're fighting them. So, you don't ever want to do that, because you'll die. Just make sure that when you run out of ammo, and if you're still in combat, either try to knife them, or shoot them with your pistol to finish them off. Of course, if you can get away, and reload, it might be a good idea to do that then, and then go back to combat. But, if you're in the open, make sure that you don't reload while they're shooting at you because you'll probably die.